Master your time. This video is based on key insights from the book Master Your Time by Thibaut Meurisse. Introduction. Thibaut Meurisse begins by pointing out something we all know. Everyone gets 24 hours in a day. But some people do amazing things with that time, while others don't seem to get much done. He believes the reason for this difference is simple. Most people don't truly value their time. They think they can always do things later, like it's an endless supply. But Meurisse argues that time is actually incredibly rare. We can make more of almost anything else with effort and resources, but we can't create more time. Every second we waste is gone forever. You can't get it back. Think about all the hours spent watching television, for example. That time is lost. It could have been used to work towards dreams and goals, but it wasn't. When we waste time like that, we end up living a life that isn't what we really want. Meurisse believes that if people truly understood how precious time is, they would use it very differently. He uses the example of Warren Buffett, a very wealthy investor. Many people might envy Buffett's money, but Meurisse says he'd rather be who he was 4 years ago, when he was a struggling author. Why? Because back then he had something Buffett couldn't buy: time. He had years stretching out ahead of him. Meurisse asks a thought-provoking question: would you rather have time or money? He suggests that most people are actually richer in time than they realize. If they use that time wisely, they can achieve many of their goals. Meurisse shares his own story to illustrate this point. He realized the value of time when he decided to take serious action towards his dreams. Instead of wasting time, he started making every moment count. He wrote down where he wanted to be in 5 years and then set goals to help him get there. 5 years later, most of those goals had come true. He became a full-time writer and sold over 200,000 books, even though it was a tough market and he was writing in a language he wasn't a native speaker. He admits that he faced doubts along the way, but he knew that those 5 years would pass regardless. So he decided to make the most of them. He encourages readers to do the same and achieve their own wonderful goals. He emphasizes that valuing time is the first step to a meaningful life. By using time wisely, we can achieve more than we ever thought possible. Meurisse explains that productive people aren't necessarily smarter than everyone else. They simply understand the importance of time. They see each day as a new chance to make progress. He asks if readers are ready to learn how to use their time well and achieve their desires. He promises that the book will explore ways to be more productive, find more fulfillment, and reach goals. The book will look at what productivity really is, why so many attempts to be productive fail, and how our view of time can affect how we use it. It will also offer a simple way to figure out what's truly important and practical tips for using time effectively and staying focused. Ultimately, Meurisse wants to help readers take control of their time and create a life they love. The importance of meaning. Thibaut Meurisse believes that being good at managing your time isn't just about getting more done. It's about doing the right things. He starts by explaining what he means by productivity. It's not just about being busy. It's about spending your time doing things you enjoy or that feel important and being around people you care about. Imagine spending all day at a job you hate, wishing you were somewhere else. Even if you're the best worker there, are you really being productive in your own life? Meurisse understands that not every task will be exciting. Sometimes you have to do things that are tough or even boring, but you can still find meaning in them. For example, a difficult job might allow you to support your family and give your kids a good future. It might be stressful, but it could also make you feel like you're making a difference. Or maybe a job isn't thrilling, but it lets you have fun with your coworkers. The key is to find something valuable in what you're doing. He isn't suggesting you quit your job immediately, but rather to think about how you spend your time. He emphasizes that being a master of your time doesn't mean having endless free time to do whatever you want. Sometimes, having commitments and responsibilities is what gives life meaning. It's about feeling like you're working towards something important. Meurisse also points out that many people waste a lot of time on things they'll later regret. Think about it. When people are nearing the end of their lives, they rarely wish they'd spent more time scrolling through social media. Instead, they wish they'd spent more time with loved ones. A nurse who worked with dying patients noticed this a lot. People often regretted not staying in touch with their friends because they were too busy with work and other things. So, Meurisse encourages readers to think about the relationships they're letting fade and to make an effort to nurture them. Being present and connecting with people you care about is a really good way to use your time. Finally, Meurisse talks about the importance of doing things you genuinely enjoy. He's not talking about just having fun in a mindless way, like playing video games all day. He means finding activities that make you feel good and energized, things that feed your soul. Maybe it's writing stories, dancing, building things, or anything else that makes you lose track of time. When you're doing something you love, you're being productive in your own way. To sum it all up, Meurisse believes that finding meaning is the key to mastering your time. When your work feels meaningful, your relationships are strong, and you have hobbies that you're passionate about, you'll feel like you're using your time well. He asks readers to consider what they'll think about their lives when they're older. Will they be proud of how they spent their time, or will they wish they'd done things differently? He encourages everyone to ask themselves, what meaningful things do I need to work on today, this week, or this year to make my future self happy? It's a question worth thinking about regularly. He challenges readers to identify one meaningful thing they can start doing more of right away. Productivity isn't only about time management. Thibaut Meurisse wants to show readers that being productive isn't just about squeezing more things into your day. It's more about how you use the time you have and how much effort you put into what you're doing. He explains that an hour of your time isn't always equal. Sometimes you might feel really energetic in the morning, ready to tackle big tasks. Other times, like in the evening after a long day, you might feel tired and less focused. That morning hour, when you're feeling good, is much more valuable than an evening hour when you're dragging. It's like it could be worth twice or even 3 times as much. So, if you're scrolling through social media when you have that morning energy, you're missing out on a chance to get a lot done. Meurisse also points out that even within the same hour, your focus matters. Imagine trying to write a report while constantly checking your phone. How much of that hour are you really working? Probably not the whole time. It's better to put all your attention on the task at hand and block out distractions. Think of it like this. If you're building with Legos, you'll build a much better castle if you focus on the instructions than if you keep getting up to watch TV. He emphasizes that what you're working on is also important. Are the things you're doing helping you reach your bigger goals? If you want to be a doctor, spending hours playing video games isn't going to get you there. It's important to have a clear idea of what you want to achieve and then focus on the tasks that will help you get there. Finally, Meurisse says that being excited about what you're doing makes a big difference. If you love something, you'll have more energy and be less likely to get distracted. Think about someone who loves to paint. They'll probably spend hours happily creating art, while someone who doesn't enjoy painting might only last a few minutes. Passion fuels productivity. So, according to Meurisse, being productive is about choosing the right tasks, putting in your best effort, and doing things you enjoy. He asks readers to think about how they're using their energy throughout the day. To help readers understand how to manage their energy, Meurisse describes an energy cycle. It's like a loop that helps you stay productive all day long. First, you need to protect your energy by getting enough sleep, eating healthy food, and exercising. These things give you the energy you need to start with. Then, you need to channel that energy towards something important, like a goal you're working towards. It's like aiming an arrow. You need to know where you're aiming to hit the target. Next, you need to decide where to focus your energy. Meurisse mentions the 80-20 rule, which means that 20% of your efforts usually lead to 80% of your results. So, focus on the most important tasks that will make the biggest difference. Then, you need to invest your energy fully into those tasks, getting rid of anything that might distract you. After that, it's important to refill your energy by taking breaks. Even superheroes need to recharge. Finally, you start the cycle all over again the next day. By following this cycle, you can make sure you're using your energy wisely and getting the most out of your time. Meurisse encourages readers to reflect on their own habits. He provides a short list of questions to help them assess how well they're using their energy. Are they making the most of their best hours? Are they focused when they work? Do their tasks help them reach their goals? Are they excited about what they're doing? By answering these questions, readers can identify areas where they can improve and become more productive. The 5 levels of productivity. Thibaut Meurisse believes that being productive isn't just about doing more things. It's about doing the right things and using your time well. He breaks down productivity into 5 different levels, like building blocks you can use to create a really good system. He says most people struggle with the very first level, so that's what his book will focus on mostly. The first level is all about getting rid of distractions and really concentrating on what you need to do. Think about it. How often do you start a homework assignment and then get pulled away by your phone or a notification? Meurisse understands that it's hard to avoid distractions completely, especially if you have a busy family or a job. But even finding just 45 minutes where you can really focus can make a big difference. It's about training yourself to pay attention. The second level is about having lots of energy. It's hard to focus if you're tired. Meurisse says to think about the basics: eating healthy foods, getting enough sleep, and exercising. When you feel good physically, you'll have more energy to put into your tasks, and you'll be able to concentrate for longer. Plus, having more energy makes everything more fun, whether it's playing with your friends, working on a hobby, or even getting work done. Level 3 is about making sure you're working towards something important. It's easy to get caught up in doing lots of little tasks, but if those tasks don't help you reach your goals, they're not really useful. Meurisse suggests thinking about what you want to achieve in the future and making sure your actions today are helping you get there. He even suggests answering some questions to help you figure out your long-term vision. Next, level 4 is about planning your day. If you plan your day well, you can avoid distractions and make sure you have time to focus on what's important. It's like having a roadmap for your day, so you know where you're going and how to get there. Finally, level 5 is about having friends and family and enjoying your life outside of work. Meurisse learned this the hard way. He moved to a new country and thought he'd have tons of extra time to work. But he actually got less done because he was lonely and didn't have a social life. He realized that humans need connection and balance. Spending time with people you care about isn't a waste of time. It's an investment in your well-being and can actually make you more productive. Meurisse believes most people are stuck at level 1, struggling to focus. That's why his book is all about mastering that first level. He wants to help you learn to concentrate and get things done. He's not saying you should ignore the other levels, but that focusing on your ability to concentrate is the most important first step. It's about building a strong foundation before you start adding more layers to your productivity system. Productivity doesn't require complex systems. Thibaut Meurisse believes that getting more done doesn't have to be complicated. He thinks many people try to use fancy tools and systems to be productive, but those things often just get in the way. He suggests that the best way to be productive is to find a way of working that you can stick with for a long time. If a system is too hard or confusing, you won't use it, and it won't help you. Meurisse doesn't really think productivity tools are helpful for most people. He says they can be another thing to distract you from actually doing the work. Instead of using apps or complicated software, he suggests using a simple notebook and pen. Writing things down can be a really good way to plan and figure out what you need to do. It's simple and doesn't add extra steps. He likes to think of productivity as something you build up over time, like climbing a ladder. Some ladders are tall and tricky to climb, while others are shorter and easier. If you've tried complicated systems before and they didn't work, that's okay. It just means you need to start with something simpler. You can always add more advanced techniques later, once you've gotten the basics down. Meurisse mentions one important thing you can do to boost your productivity. Focus on one task at a time without any distractions. Imagine you're trying to build a tower with blocks. You can't build it if you're constantly getting interrupted. The same is true for your work. Find a quiet place, turn off your phone, and really concentrate on what you're doing. This is a great first step to building a better way of working. He promises to share more specific ideas in the book to help people become more productive. He's going to explore why people put things off or procrastinate and how to stop doing that. It's all about finding a way to use your time well and get things done without feeling overwhelmed. Meurisse encourages readers to take a moment to think about how they currently try to be productive. Do you have a system? Is it working? If not, what could you change to make it easier and more effective? Maybe you could try just writing down your tasks in a notebook instead of using a complicated app. The goal is to find something that works for you and that you can stick with. What is procrastination and how to overcome it? Thibaut Meurisse believes everyone puts things off sometimes, but if it's a regular habit, it's something to work on. He thinks understanding why we procrastinate is the first step to stopping it. He says we often delay tasks because we're not clear on why they matter. We don't really know what to do, we struggle to focus. We're scared of failing, we don't feel like it's urgent. We don't have good routines, our surroundings make it harder to work, or our minds are just too full. Let's start with clarity. Imagine being asked to build something without knowing why it's needed, or what it should look like. It's hard to get excited, right? Meurisse suggests figuring out why you're doing something. If you can't find a good reason, think about what might happen if you don't do it. Maybe it will cause problems later. Or picture how good you'll feel when it's finally done. Even just starting, even if it seems hard, can help. He also suggests breaking down big tasks into smaller, easier steps. If you're not sure what to do, write it all down or ask for help. Sometimes, we put things off because we don't think we have the energy or motivation. But Meurisse points out that often, doing something actually creates motivation. It's like a trick of the mind. He calls this the motivation myth. We think we need to feel motivated before we can start, but that's not true. He uses examples like asking for a promotion. You don't need to feel confident to do it, or writing a book. You don't need to be a perfect writer to start. It's about taking action first, and the motivation will follow. He also talks about mental roadblocks. Sometimes, we make tasks seem much bigger and scarier than they really are. To tackle this, Meurisse suggests breaking the task down into tiny pieces, so small that you can start without feeling overwhelmed. He suggests asking yourself what's really stopping you and what it would take to feel ready to start. Our brains are wired to keep us safe, so they resist change and discomfort. To thrive, Meurisse says, we need to push past that and do what needs to be done, even when we don't feel like it. He also mentions that procrastinating is like promising your future self you'll do something, but your future self is just a result of what you do now. Focus is another big challenge. Meurisse notes that it's hard to concentrate these days with phones and social media constantly grabbing our attention. He suggests reducing stimulation, putting your phone away, blocking distracting websites. He also emphasizes the importance of fear. Many people avoid tasks because they're afraid of not doing a good job. Meurisse reminds us that even talented people feel this way sometimes. He encourages readers to accept that they might not be perfect, but to keep trying anyway. He suggests focusing on learning and progress rather than on being good enough. A lack of urgency is another common reason for procrastination. Meurisse suggests setting deadlines, finding someone to hold you accountable, and breaking projects into smaller milestones. He uses the example of a student who might procrastinate on a thesis if there's no deadline. Finally, he stresses the importance of routines. Having a regular schedule can make it easier to get started each day. He suggests creating a simple routine that prepares you for work, like taking deep breaths or listening to music. Our surroundings also play a big role. Meurisse suggests making it harder to do things that waste time, like putting your phone in another room, and easier to do things that are productive, like keeping your workspace organized. If your mind feels overloaded, he recommends writing down everything you need to do and tackling the easiest tasks first. Meurisse believes that by understanding these reasons for procrastination and putting strategies in place, anyone can improve their productivity and make better use of their time. He encourages readers to focus on the present moment and to take action, because today is the most important day. Using past and future properly. Thibaut Meurisse believes that many people misunderstand time. He says time isn't something that passes, it's all happening right now. Thinking about the past or the future happens in the present moment. Our memories and plans are just tools our brains use to help us make the most of today. The problem is, we often use these tools in ways that don't help us. We might feel bad about things that happened before, or worry too much about what might happen later. This can make us unhappy and stop us from getting things done. Meurisse wants to show people how to use their memories and plans in a better way. Let's start with the past. It's easy to get stuck thinking about mistakes or regrets. Maybe you feel sorry for something you did or wish you could change it. But Meurisse points out that the past is already over. Trying to change it is like trying to stop a river that's already flowed by. Instead, he suggests looking at the past as a teacher. What lessons can you learn from what happened? What did you do well? Remembering your successes, even small ones, can give you energy to tackle new challenges. Think about times you were brave, even when you were scared. Remembering those moments can remind you that you're stronger than you think. Even bad experiences can be helpful if you think about what you learned from them. It's important to be kind to yourself, too. Everyone makes mistakes, and it's okay to forgive yourself. Finally, try to see your past as something separate from who you are today. Imagine it as a chain holding you back, and then picture yourself breaking free. Now, let's talk about the future. It's great to have dreams and goals, but worrying about them can be a waste of energy. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, Meurisse encourages you to imagine the future you want. What does it look like? What are you doing? Then, think about what steps you need to take today to make that future a reality. Planning helps you focus and avoid distractions. It also lets you think about possible problems and how to solve them. It's like making a map before you go on a journey. When you can really picture yourself achieving your goals, it gives you a boost of motivation to work hard. But what about right now? Meurisse says the present moment is the most important thing. It's the only time we truly have. When we're lost in thoughts about the past or future, we miss out on the good things happening around us. He believes that each day is like a mini life, and it's important to make the most of it. Start each day by being thankful for the chance to experience it. Think about what you want to accomplish that day and plan your activities accordingly. Focus on doing things that are meaningful, enjoyable, and help you grow. When you're working on something, try to slow down and focus completely. It might seem strange, but working slowly can actually help you get more done. It's like taking your time to build a Lego set. You're more likely to get it right if you don't rush. Meurisse suggests a few ways to be more present. You can practice gratitude by saying thank you for the day. You can plan your day by writing down what you want to achieve. You can also try exercises to calm your mind, like deep breathing or meditation. Imagine focusing on one sense at a time. What do you hear, see, smell, taste, and feel? These exercises can help you feel more relaxed and focused. He even shares an example of a man who found that working slowly on a task actually helped him finish it faster and with less stress. Ultimately, Meurisse wants us to appreciate each day and make it count. He encourages everyone to treat each day as if it were their last, because one day it will be. Perceiving time as an investment. Thibaut Meurisse believes many people don't realize how precious time is. He points out that we can only live in the present moment. We can't save time for later, unlike money. If we don't use our energy today, it's gone forever. He wants people to think about whether they are simply spending their time or actually investing it to make their lives better. Spending time, according to Meurisse, is like letting your energy slip away. Think about watching lots of TV, scrolling through social media, or playing video games for hours. These things might feel good for a little while, but they don't really help you grow or learn anything new. It's like your energy just disappears. He emphasizes that doing these things won't help you build a good future or feel truly happy. Investing time, on the other hand, is about using your energy to create something valuable. It's about making memories that will last a lifetime, learning new skills, gaining knowledge, or even creating something cool to share with others. It could also be about taking care of your body and mind so you have more energy to do the things you love. Meurisse encourages everyone to think about how they can use their time each day to build a better future. He isn't saying you can't relax, but maybe there are better ways to do it than just watching TV. Meurisse mentions that even when you feel tired, you might still have more energy than you think. He references Arnold Bennett, who said our minds can keep working as long as we change what we're doing. He also talks about David Goggins, who believes we're often only 40% tired when we think we're completely exhausted. This is a reminder to push yourself a little bit, even when it feels hard. He asks a really important question. Are you investing your time or just letting it go? He challenges readers to think about how they spend their evenings and whether that's really how they want to use such a valuable resource. He wants people to realize that time is limited and that it's important to respect it. Meurisse introduces the idea of diminishing returns. This means that sometimes doing more of something doesn't actually give you more enjoyment. For example, watching a TV show for 4 hours might not be 4 times more fun than watching it for just 1 hour. He suggests that it's often better to stop when you've had enough and use the rest of your time for something else. He encourages people to think about the ratio of time they invest versus time they spend. He suggests calculating how much time they spend on unproductive activities, like watching TV, and then imagining how much time that adds up to over many years. He uses the example of watching TV for 2 hours a day, which could add up to over 7,000 hours in a decade. He asks readers to consider what they could do with that extra time if they invested it wisely. Meurisse believes that most people have dreams they want to achieve, like traveling the world or learning a new language. He says that these dreams are often within reach if people are willing to make a change and invest their time more effectively. He encourages people to really think about what they want to do and to visualize themselves achieving those goals. To help people get started, Meurisse suggests a simple exercise. First, write down one activity you feel is a waste of time. Then, calculate how much time you'll spend on that activity over your lifetime. Next, write down something exciting you could be doing instead. Think about how you'd feel if you didn't achieve that exciting goal, and then imagine yourself actually achieving it. Finally, visualize how much progress you could make toward that goal if you freed up the time by stopping the unproductive activity. Meurisse hopes this exercise will help people realize the power of investing their time wisely and creating a life they truly love. Understanding compound effect and long-term thinking. Thibaut Meurisse believes that thinking about the future is super important for success. He points out that people who plan ahead often make better choices. They eat healthier, work harder, and save more money. He mentions a scientist who studied successful people and found that being able to think about what you want in the future is one of the biggest reasons they do well. Meurisse explains that we aren't naturally good at thinking long-term. Our brains are wired to focus on what's happening right now, like needing food or avoiding danger. But he says, we can learn to think further ahead by making plans and imagining ourselves achieving our goals. Just picturing a great future can make us more likely to reach it, because we start making small steps every day. The key idea here is the compound effect. It's like planting a tiny seed. One seed doesn't look like much, but if you water it and take care of it every day, it grows into a big plant. Meurisse says that small actions, done consistently over time, can lead to amazing results. He uses the example of learning a language. Studying a little bit each day adds up, and you'll eventually become fluent. Studying only once a week is much less effective because you forget what you learned and have to start over. He shares his own experience with building his online business. He worked on it almost every day for 5 years, and that steady effort helped him build momentum and achieve a lot. He encourages readers to think about what small, daily habits they could start to boost their productivity. He gives some fun examples. Writing a little bit each day can lead to writing many books. Learning a few new words daily can make you fluent in a language, and walking a bit each day can lead to incredible distances traveled over time. Meurisse acknowledges that it's hard to think long-term because most people want things right away. But he says that imagining a fantastic future can actually make you more excited to work towards it. He reminds us that sometimes, just thinking about a vacation is more enjoyable than the vacation itself. When you have a clear picture of what you want, each small step feels like a victory. He emphasizes that enjoying the process is just as important as reaching the goal. If you find the journey fun, you're more likely to stick with it. Long-term thinkers don't just focus on the end result, they enjoy the daily progress they make. They celebrate small wins and keep imagining a bright future. Meurisse suggests that if you spend time thinking about your long-term goals every day, you'll achieve more than you ever thought possible. He believes that hard work leads to anything you desire. He encourages readers to think about whether they are enjoying the process of working towards their goals, or if they are getting distracted by things that feel good right now. To help readers put these ideas into action, Meurisse suggests a few exercises. First, think about one small habit that could really boost your productivity over time. Imagine what it would be like if you did it consistently for years. Second, spend a few minutes each day visualizing your goals. Finally, celebrate your small daily wins, maybe by marking a calendar each time you make progress. By focusing on the future and enjoying the journey, Meurisse believes anyone can achieve their dreams. Creating urgency. Thibaut Meurisse believes many people waste time because they don't feel like time is limited. It's easy to think you have all the time in the world when you plan for the future, like setting yearly goals. But a whole year is a long time. It's hard to stay excited and motivated when something is so far away. It's tempting to put things off, thinking you can always do them later. Meurisse suggests changing how you think about time to make it more valuable. To really make the most of your time, Meurisse recommends thinking in shorter periods, specifically 90 days. He got this idea from a book called The 12-Week Year. 90 days isn't forever, but it's long enough to finish a big project or make real progress toward a big goal. When you can almost see the finish line, you're more likely to work hard and move quickly. Imagine if you had to do a whole year's worth of work in just 90 days. You'd probably start working much harder and appreciate every minute. Another trick Meurisse suggests is setting lots of deadlines. He explains that work tends to take up all the time you give it. If you don't have deadlines, you might wait until the last minute to do things, just like some students do with school projects. Breaking down your goals into smaller steps with deadlines helps you stay on track and feel good when you finish each step. Each time you reach a milestone, your brain gets a little reward, which makes you want to keep going. Meurisse uses this method when he writes books. Without deadlines, he says he'd probably never finish them. He'd find excuses to do other things, like changing sentences or rearranging paragraphs, and take lots of little breaks. So, he sets a deadline for finishing the whole book, then smaller deadlines for things like finishing the outline and the first draft. He even tells his editor when he'll send the finished manuscript. It doesn't always work perfectly, but having these deadlines helps him a lot. If you're not a very disciplined person, Meurisse suggests adding even more deadlines and finding someone to hold you accountable. This could be a coach or a friend who will check in on your progress. Having someone to answer to can be a great way to stay motivated. Ultimately, Meurisse believes that setting milestones gives you a clear idea of what you need to do each day, so you can use your time much more effectively. To help you put this into practice, Meurisse suggests a little thought experiment. Imagine you only had 90 days to do everything you usually do in a year. How would that make you feel? Probably pretty urgent. Then, he wants you to pick a big goal you have and write it down. Next, break that goal into smaller 90-day goals. Make sure these smaller goals are something you can picture yourself achieving and a little bit challenging. Finally, add even smaller milestones by setting monthly and weekly goals. And don't forget to write down one thing you can do today to start moving toward those goals. The 5 most dangerous words you must stop using. Thibaut Meurisse believes many people say they don't have time, but he thinks it's more about how we use our time than a lack of it. He noticed this a lot when he lived in Japan, where being busy is a big deal. People there feel like being idle might seem rude because it suggests you're not contributing. Meurisse suggests that saying, "I don't have time," is often a way to avoid making changes in our lives. It's easier to say we're busy than to rethink how we work, go to bed, or stop doing things that don't help us. Sometimes, we complain about being busy to get sympathy from friends. It feels good to commiserate and agree that life is just too hectic. It can also be a way to avoid doing things because, deep down, we don't really want to. Maybe our goals aren't exciting enough to motivate us. Or we might just want to appear busy to seem important or cool. This can lead to a cycle where we keep adding things to our schedules without really thinking about what's important. Meurisse points out that most people spend a surprising amount of time watching TV, using the internet, and looking at their phones. He mentions a statistic that Americans spend over 14 years of their lives in front of a screen. That's a lot of time. He asks us to think about how we spend our days and whether we really don't have time or if we're just filling our time with things that don't matter. He emphasizes that everyone has the same 24 hours each day. Some people use that time to do amazing things, while others complain about being busy but don't seem to accomplish much. Meurisse believes saying, "I don't have time," gives away our power. It means we let outside things control our actions instead of deciding what we want to do. This often happens because we haven't figured out what's truly important to us. He even jokes that being busy is like being lazy about thinking. Meurisse suggests we stop saying, "I don't have time" altogether. Instead, we should say things like, "I choose not to do that right now," or "I'm focusing on other things at the moment." This way, we take responsibility for our choices. If something is important, like studying, exercising, or spending time with family, we should ask ourselves how we can make time for it. To help us understand our habits, Meurisse provides a few questions to consider. Does he take full responsibility for his time? Does he complain about being busy to get sympathy? Are his goals exciting enough to motivate him? Does he feel the need to look busy to impress others? By answering these questions honestly, we can start to see where we might be wasting time. If we find ourselves constantly saying, "We don't have time," Meurisse suggests we either remind ourselves that we're choosing not to make time or ask ourselves how we can actually fit it into our day. This simple shift in thinking can help us figure out what's truly important and start using our time more wisely. It's about becoming aware of how we spend our time and making conscious choices about what we do with it. Keeping a time log. Thibaut Meurisse believes that understanding how you spend your time is the very first step to getting more done and feeling happier about it. It's like this: if you don't know where your time goes, it's hard to change anything. He suggests a simple but powerful exercise, keeping a time log. The idea is to write down everything you do, every single day, for a whole week. Don't just think about it, actually write it down. This means noting what you do before work, during work, and after work too. It might seem like a lot, but it's really important. When you look back at what you've written, you might be surprised. You might realize you spend way more time on things that don't really matter, like quickly checking social media or answering emails when you could be doing something else. Meurisse points out that many people think they know how they spend their time, but they often don't. This exercise helps you see the truth. For example, you might think you only watch TV for an hour each night, but when you write it down, you discover it's actually 3. Then you can ask yourself, is this really what I want to be doing? Maybe you could be reading a book, learning a new skill, or spending time with friends and family instead. By carefully looking at your time log, you start to take control. It's like realizing you're driving a car, and you decide to turn down a different road. You become more responsible for how you use your time, and you can start making choices that make you feel good and help you achieve your goals. Meurisse believes that this awareness is the key to making your time more valuable and living a more fulfilling life. Being productive the right way. Thibaut Meurisse believes that being truly productive isn't just about doing a lot of things. It's about doing the right things. He reminds readers that to be productive in a way that matters, you need a clear idea of what you want your life to look like in the future. It's like having a destination in mind before you start a road trip. If you don't know where you're going, you might end up somewhere you don't want to be, even if you drive really hard. Meurisse suggests asking yourself a simple question every day. If I keep doing what I'm doing, will I be happy with where I am in 5 or 10 years? If the answer is no, it's a sign that something needs to change. When you don't have a clear vision, it's hard to decide how to spend your time. You waste energy on things that don't really matter, and that energy is hard to get back. To help people figure out their vision, Meurisse provides a list of 15 questions. These questions are designed to help you think about what you really want, what you're good at, and what makes you excited. For example, he asks, if you woke up tomorrow and were completely alone, what would you do differently? This encourages you to think about what you truly desire, without anyone else's influence. He also asks about your childhood. What did you enjoy doing then? Sometimes, our passions are hidden in the things we loved as kids. Thinking about who you envy can also be helpful. Why do you admire that person? What qualities do they have that you wish you possessed? Once you have some ideas, Meurisse explains that a good vision has certain qualities. First, it needs to be something you genuinely want. It should feel exciting and pull you towards it. Second, it needs to be clear. You should be able to picture yourself achieving it and how it will feel. It's okay if your vision isn't perfect at first. It will probably change as you learn more about yourself. But having some vision is better than having none at all. Importantly, Meurisse emphasizes that your vision should align with your values. Values are the things that are most important to you, like honesty, kindness, or creativity. Your vision should allow you to live by those values every day. For instance, if you value safety, that might mean working in a stable job or living in a secure neighborhood. But safety can mean different things to different people. For one person, it might mean having a lot of money saved up. For another, it might mean having strong relationships with family and friends. Finally, Meurisse says your vision should allow you to express yourself and challenge yourself. It should be something that makes you feel alive and pushes you to grow. It's not about just surviving. It's about thriving and becoming the best version of yourself. Building a strong vision takes time and effort, but it's worth it because it will help you use your time wisely and be truly productive. Meurisse encourages readers to take action and start answering the questions and writing down their vision, knowing that it can be refined over time. How to use your time well. Thibaut Meurisse believes everyone wants to feel like they're making the most of their day, but figuring out how to do that can be tricky. He suggests thinking about what makes time well spent. For Meurisse, it's about activities that fit into one or more of 7 important ideas. First, something should be meaningful. This means it connects to what you care about, your personality, or what you want to achieve. It could be spending time with people you enjoy and feel close to, or doing something creative that makes you feel alive. Next, it should be enjoyable. Things that make you happy, relaxed, or even laugh are great ways to spend your time. It's also good if something is challenging. Trying new things and pushing yourself to learn new skills can be really rewarding. Memorable experiences are another key. Think about activities that will create fun stories and good memories for years to come. It's also important to do things that make you feel good about yourself and help you grow as a person. For those focused on school or work, being effective finding the best way to get things done is crucial. Finally, taking care of your health is always a good idea. To show how this works, Meurisse shares a personal example. He used to spend hours watching Netflix every night. He then used his 7 ideas to see if it was a good use of his time. It wasn't meaningful, challenging, or memorable. It didn't make him feel good about himself, and it wasn't healthy. He realized he was wasting time because he hadn't filled his evenings with better things to do. So, Meurisse decided to change his routine. He wrote down all the things he could be doing instead of watching Netflix. He started studying languages, taking online courses, and even blocked distracting websites on his computer. He learned that when you want to stop doing something you don't like, you need to replace it with something better, something that's fun and helpful. He encourages readers to think about their own goals and dreams. Maybe you want to learn Spanish to travel to Spain, play the piano, write stories, or bake for your family. When you use your time wisely, you can achieve almost anything you set your mind to. Building good habits and staying consistent is the key to success. To illustrate this further, Meurisse talks about learning Estonian, the language spoken in the country where he lives. He had been putting it off for a long time, thinking that most people spoke English anyway. But he realized he wanted to feel more connected to the community. He started using a language app and hired a teacher. When he compared studying Estonian to watching Netflix, it was clear which was the better choice. Learning Estonian was meaningful, challenging, enjoyable, and helped him feel good about himself. It was also an effective way to achieve his goal of feeling more at home. Meurisse emphasizes that by using these 7 ideas, you can make every moment count. He asks readers to think about how they can improve their daily routines and what new activities they could start. What can you stop doing, and what can you start doing instead to make your time more valuable? As a final step, Meurisse suggests taking a look at how you spend your time each day or week. Think about what you're getting out of each activity. Then, pick one thing you're not getting much out of, and replace it with something more meaningful and enjoyable. How to increase your time. Thibaut Meurisse believes that everyone wants more time, like having a superpower to do everything they need and still have fun. He explains that while we can't actually make more hours in a day, we can learn to use the time we have much better. It's like learning to ride a bike. It takes practice, but once you get it, you can go much further and faster. One clever way to gain time is by asking for help. Instead of struggling alone with a new task, Meurisse suggests asking others who already know how to do it. He uses the example of translating his books. Instead of spending hours searching for translators, he asked a friend for recommendations. It was much quicker and easier. He also asked a friend for a book cover designer, showing that reaching out can save a lot of time and effort. It's not about taking advantage of people, but about building helpful relationships where everyone supports each other. He points out that it's important to return the favor when you can. Meurisse emphasizes that thinking carefully is also key to using time well. It's like being a smart shopper. You wouldn't buy everything in a store, right? You'd choose the things that are most important and useful. He suggests shortening the time it takes to learn new things, having a strong desire to master skills, asking yourself good questions, tackling tasks smartly, and setting aside time just to think. To learn faster, Meurisse says it's better to learn from people who already know what you're trying to do. Instead of figuring everything out yourself, watch videos, take classes, or find a mentor. He compares it to following a map instead of wandering around lost. He also warns against jumping from one new idea to another without finishing anything. It's like starting a lot of games but never finishing any of them. You waste time and don't really learn anything. He encourages people to focus on mastering one skill at a time. Meurisse introduces the idea of a mastery mindset, which means focusing on getting really good at something. He breaks this down into 7 parts. First, it's about repeating things over and over until they become easy, like a swimmer practicing their strokes. Second, it's about understanding the basics really well, even if they seem simple. Third, it's about believing you can succeed. Fourth, it's about being open to learning. Fifth, it's about thinking about the long term, not just what you want to do today. Sixth, it's about being consistent and doing things regularly. And finally, it's about focusing your attention on what's most important. He also talks about the importance of asking yourself good questions. Questions can help you figure out what you really want and how to get it. For example, asking, "What if I could achieve my biggest goal?" can spark your imagination and give you new ideas. Asking, "How can I do this better?" can help you improve your skills. Meurisse believes that how you approach tasks matters a lot. He suggests a 7-step process. First, decide what's most important. Second, make sure the task is really necessary. Third, be clear about what you need to do. Fourth, see if someone else can do it better. Fifth, find the best way to do it. Sixth, group similar tasks together. And seventh, try to automate or simplify things whenever possible. Finally, Meurisse stresses the importance of taking time to think. It's easy to get caught up in doing things, but sometimes you need to step back and consider what you're doing and why. He suggests setting aside time each week to reflect on your progress and plan for the future. By thinking carefully and using your time wisely, Meurisse believes anyone can achieve more and live a more fulfilling life. How to store time. Thibaut Meurisse believes that time is incredibly valuable, and once it's gone forever. He introduces a surprising idea. We might actually be able to get more time back. How? Through money. He argues that money isn't just about buying things. It's a way to store our energy and time for later. Think of it like this. When you work, you're trading your time for money. Saving that money allows you to buy back some of that time in the future. Meurisse points to the FIRE movement as a great example. FIRE stands for financial independence, retire early. People who follow this movement work hard to save and invest their money so they can retire much sooner than most people. The money they save grows over time, allowing them to stop working and enjoy their free time. He encourages readers to see money as freedom, the freedom to use their time in the best way possible. Without money, we're stuck working just to pay for the basics. Every dollar saved is a chance to take back a little bit of our future. He emphasizes that saving money gives you choices. You could decide to take a break from work, start a small business, or even switch to a job you love, even if it doesn't pay as much. It's like having a superpower, the ability to control your own time. But Meurisse warns, earning a lot of money isn't enough. You need to save and invest some of it. Otherwise, you'll feel like you're running in place, always worried about what might go wrong. Being in debt is even worse because it forces you to spend your time paying back what you owe. Meurisse wants readers to change how they think about money. He says money is essentially stored time. To get more control over your time, you need to start saving and investing. He suggests thinking about every purchase you make. How many hours do you have to work to buy it? For example, if a new phone costs $900 and you earn $15 an hour, you'll need to work 60 hours to buy it. Is that phone really worth 60 hours of your time? Maybe a cheaper phone would work just as well. He explains the idea of opportunity cost. Every time you spend money, you're missing out on the chance to save and invest it. That money could grow over time and give you even more options later. He uses the example of someone buying a new car with a loan. While it might seem exciting to have a new car, the interest on the loan and the payments over several years add up. If that person had invested that money instead, it could have grown into a much larger sum over time, giving them even more freedom in the future. Meurisse illustrates this with a simple calculation. Imagine someone invests a small amount of money each month for many years. Even a small return, like 5% a year, can add up to a significant amount over time. Investing for even longer, like 30 years, can result in a surprisingly large sum. This extra money could allow someone to retire earlier or have a more comfortable retirement. He stresses that you can always earn more money, but you can't get more time. So, use your money wisely to store time. If you want to spend and save, you need to find ways to earn more. Meurisse encourages readers to think about what they would do if they had more time. Would they retire early? Pursue a hobby? Change careers? The possibilities are endless when you have the freedom to choose. He wants everyone to see money as a tool to buy back their time and live a more fulfilling life. Disconnecting time from money. Thibaut Meurisse believes that time is much more valuable than money. He explains that even if someone is struggling financially, they should still understand that time is limited. The more you appreciate your time, the more money you'll likely earn over time, though it won't happen instantly. The key is to stop using your time to save money and instead use your money to save your time. Meurisse suggests figuring out how much your time is worth You can do this by dividing your monthly salary by the number of hours you work each month. For example, if you earn $4,000 a month and work 40 hours a week, your hourly rate is about $25. Once you know this, you can start thinking about whether you're using your time wisely. He points out that some people waste hours clipping coupons or waiting in long lines for deals, which isn't a good use of their valuable time. Instead, they could be working on a side project, learning something new, or enjoying a hobby. He emphasizes that most people trade their time for money. They get paid for the hours they work. While this is okay, it limits how much money they can make because there are only 24 hours in a day. To earn more or work less, Meurisse says you need to make your money work for you instead of the other way around. This is called leveraging your time. Leveraging your time means finding ways to make your time more valuable. There are several ways to do this. You can create things that earn money even when you're not actively working on them, like writing a book or making online courses. You can also get paid for results, not just hours worked, or hire other people to do some of your tasks. When you do these things, you can potentially earn more per hour than you would at a regular job. Of course, there's always a risk involved, but that's part of the process. Meurisse suggests using different resources to make the most of your time. First, you can use other people's time. Hiring freelancers or employees can free up your time to focus on the things you're good at. For example, he hires translators, editors, and designers because he doesn't have those skills himself. You could also hire someone to clean your house or watch your kids, giving you more time for work or hobbies. He even shares an example of investing a small amount of cryptocurrency with a trusted friend, leveraging their time to manage the investment without requiring his own involvement. Next, you can use other people's money. Getting a loan to buy a house or raising money for a business are ways to use someone else's money to build assets that can generate income. Meurisse suggests considering a mortgage or rental property if you can get a good interest rate. Learning from others is another powerful way to save time. The internet provides access to a wealth of knowledge, including books and expert advice. Instead of trying to figure everything out yourself, learn from those who have already done it. Read books, ask for advice, and put what you learn into action. Building a strong network of friends and acquaintances can also save you time. Your network can help you find jobs, sell products, or form partnerships. Don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. Finally, Meurisse highlights the importance of technology. The internet and related tools can significantly increase your productivity. You can sell products online, automate tasks with software, and use social media to promote your business. He believes in using technology to simplify his work and free up his time. Ultimately, Meurisse encourages readers to use all available resources, other people's time, money, knowledge, influence, and technology, to make the most of their limited time. The best productivity tool you'll ever have. Thibaut Meurisse believes the most important tool for getting things done isn't a fancy app or a complicated system. It's your ability to really focus. He thinks of focus as a superpower because when you can concentrate on one thing and block out everything else, you can do amazing things. It's like entering a calm, quiet space in your mind where worries fade away, and you can completely lose yourself in what you're doing. When you're in that state, you work better and get more done. Meurisse explains that really strong focus can make someone seem incredibly smart, even if they aren't naturally a genius. This is because when you focus, you're using all your energy to achieve one goal. It's like directing a laser beam instead of scattering your energy everywhere. He points out that many smart people don't reach their full potential because they lack direction and discipline. But he also notes that people who aren't necessarily the smartest can achieve great things simply because they can stay focused for a long time. He even suggests that being able to focus intensely can be like adding extra points to your intelligence. He wants readers to think about their own focus. He suggests that if you learn to concentrate well, many of your problems with getting things done will disappear. He promises that if you work on it over time, you'll be surprised by what you can achieve. To help people improve their focus, Meurisse introduces the 80-20 principle, also known as the Pareto principle. This idea says that about 80% of your results come from only 20% of your efforts. Basically, most of what you do doesn't really make a big difference. The trick is to spend most of your time on that important 20%, because that's where you'll see the biggest rewards. Meurisse uses his own experience as an example. As a writer, he finds that writing books and running ads on Amazon are the activities that bring him the most success. Each new book helps him reach more readers, and ads help him get his books in front of people. He used to spend time promoting his books on social media and doing interviews, but he realized those things didn't really help much. He stopped doing those things and focused on writing and advertising instead. He encourages readers to think about their own lives and figure out what their 20% is. What are the few things you do that make the biggest difference? And what's the most important thing you should be working on right now? He warns that figuring out these key tasks can be tricky and that they might change over time. To help people find their most important tasks, Meurisse suggests a few things. First, he mentions a 7-step process that he introduces elsewhere. Second, he recommends looking at what other people have done who have achieved similar goals. Finally, he suggests asking yourself some important questions. For example, if you only had one day or 1 week to work before taking a month off, what would you focus on? Or, is what you're doing today helping you reach your goals in 5 years? Meurisse challenges the reader to take action. He wants them to think about their activities and identify the 20% that brings 80% of the results. Then, he wants them to write those activities down so they can remember them and focus on them. Developing focus. Thibaut Meurisse believes that being able to really focus on one thing at a time is super important for getting things done. He wants to help people build that focus, like building a muscle. He talks about something called the flow state, which is when you're so into what you're doing that you forget about everything else. It's like when you're playing a game and time just flies by. Psychologists have studied this, and they say it makes you feel good and helps you do your best work. To get into this flow state, several things need to happen at once. You need to be really present in the moment. Your actions and thoughts need to feel connected. You shouldn't be worrying about what others think. You need to feel like you're in control. Time should feel different, and the activity itself should be enjoyable. When you're in this state, your focus is really deep, and everything else fades away. Even if you have negative thoughts, they don't bother you because you're so focused. Meurisse explains that it takes a little practice to get there, but the more you work on something that's a bit challenging, the easier it becomes. Think about video games. They're designed to be just hard enough to keep you hooked. He uses writing as an example. When he writes or edits a book, he gets completely absorbed. He encourages the reader to think about when they feel this way and how they could experience it more often. He points out that we naturally focus when we're really engaged, but these days, it's hard because there are so many distractions. He suggests trying to stay away from social media, YouTube, and Netflix for a while to see how much better your focus becomes. It's surprising how many times people check their phones and emails each day. All these interruptions make it hard to concentrate. But if you can learn to control your focus, you'll be much more productive. To help with this, Meurisse suggests creating daily routines. Routines are like habits that help train your mind. Think of it like this. If you always do the same thing before you start working, your brain will start to get ready for work automatically. Stephen King, the famous writer, always writes every morning, even on holidays. He doesn't wait for inspiration to strike. He just sits down and starts writing. Creating a routine doesn't have to be complicated. First, do the same thing at the same place every day. Then have a trigger, something that tells you it's time to work. For Meurisse, it's drinking water, taking vitamins, and writing down his goals. He takes his time doing this to slow down and get ready to focus. You could also try meditating or doing some breathing exercises. Next, decide what you'll work on, something challenging but not too hard, and something that's important to you. Finally, just start. Don't worry about doing a perfect job, just work for 5 minutes. Often, that's enough to get you going. Besides routines, it's important to get rid of distractions. Turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and let people know you need some quiet time. Protecting your focus is like protecting a valuable treasure. Meurisse also recommends working without interruptions. Start with short sessions, like 45 minutes, and challenge yourself to stay focused. Experts say that even top performers usually only do a few hours of really intense work each day. So aim for that. To help even more, Meurisse suggests having other things to do besides work. If you're always working, you might burn out. Having hobbies and interests outside of work can actually make you more productive. He suggests setting a specific time to finish work each day, like Cal Newport, who stops working at 5:30 p.m. This creates a sense of urgency and makes you use your time more wisely. He also encourages reading, as it's an active way to concentrate. Allowing yourself to be bored can also be helpful. When you're constantly stimulated, even simple tasks seem boring. So, try doing nothing, sometimes go for a walk, or just sit quietly. Finally, Meurisse says to batch unimportant tasks together and to be kind to yourself. If you don't get as much done as you hoped, don't beat yourself up. Just keep practicing, and you'll get better at focusing over time. Remember, being compassionate with yourself is a powerful tool for achieving your goals. Eliminating distractions. Thibaut Meurisse believes that in today's world, it's super easy to get distracted. Think about it with the internet. We have all the information in the world right at our fingertips, but also tons of things that pull our attention away. A quick check of Facebook, a peek at emails, or just one YouTube video can easily turn into a big time waster. He points out that distractions are everywhere, and it's easy to fall into the trap of doing something else when we have a tough or boring task to do. Meurisse emphasizes that getting rid of distractions is really important if you want to feel in control of your time. When you can focus completely on what you're doing, you can use your energy to finish it. He suggests a way to think about distractions, calling it the distraction matrix. It breaks down distractions into 4 main types: being dragged, being interrupted, being seduced, and being fooled. Let's start with being dragged. This happens when you start doing one thing, but then get pulled into something else. For example, you might open Facebook to check one message, and suddenly you've spent 30 minutes scrolling through your friends' posts. Meurisse suggests becoming aware of what pulls you in. Maybe it's checking the news or going on Twitter. The important question to ask yourself is this likely to derail me? If the answer is yes, it's best to schedule that activity for later or even cut it out completely. Then there's being interrupted. Studies show that people often spend only about 11 minutes working on a project before something interrupts them. These interruptions can be things like phone notifications, colleagues talking, or even just checking your phone. Meurisse says these interruptions can stop you from really concentrating. He also points out that you can interrupt yourself, too, by checking social media or reading articles online. These interruptions often become habits, like getting a little reward in your brain every time you check your phone. To deal with this, ask yourself, is this killing my ability to focus? Next, Meurisse talks about being seduced. This is when you choose something easier or more fun to do, instead of working on something important. It's like choosing to clean your room instead of writing a report, just because cleaning feels good. Doing lots of small, easy tasks might make you feel busy, but it doesn't really help you reach your goals. He suggests asking yourself, is this really what I should be doing right now? And am I doing this just to feel good, or because it's important? Finally, there's being fooled. This is when you think you need the perfect app, book, or system to become super productive. Meurisse says that's an illusion. Some of the most successful people in history didn't have all the fancy tools we have today. He believes the best way to improve focus is to practice working on your most important task for at least 45 minutes each day. He encourages you to ask yourself, am I still looking for more information instead of actually doing the work? And is my system something I can stick with? To help you figure out what's distracting you the most, Meurisse suggests making a list of all the ways you get distracted in each of the 4 categories. Then, underline the ones that take up the most time. Finally, identify your biggest distraction, your kryptonite, and make a plan to get rid of it or reduce its impact. Meurisse then introduces a helpful framework called CEO-COO-Employee. He explains that you can think of yourself as playing 3 different roles throughout the day. As the CEO, you decide what needs to be done and set the plan for the day. As the COO, you look for ways to improve the system and make things more efficient. And as the employee, you simply focus on completing the tasks you've been given. It's like having a boss, the CEO, who tells you what to do, a helper, the COO, who makes sure you have what you need, and you, the employee, just doing the work. He uses an example of writing a book. As the CEO, he decides to write for 2 hours. As the employee, he just starts typing. If he only gets halfway through, he tells the COO himself about it. The COO might suggest he spends more time planning what he's going to write next time. The idea is to separate planning and doing, so you can focus on the task at hand. Meurisse encourages everyone to think of themselves as the CEO of their own lives. By planning your day and sticking to the plan, you can take control and make it more likely to achieve your goals. He suggests starting each day by asking yourself what tasks you need to complete, whether you know how to do them, and why they're important. Then just start working. And that brings us to the end of our summary of this book. I hope you found it insightful and valuable. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe for more. Your support helps us bring you more great content. Thanks for watching.